everybody. Welcome to Tea Time. That's right. It's Monday night, 8 o'clock. It is February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. I hope everyone had a lovely Valentine's Day with their loved ones, as much as you could get together. There's not too much to talk about my weekend. I was pretty much in all weekend, taking care of myself, steroids, liquids, trying to stay healthy, get better. But listen, I'm not going to waste any time because I have a very special guest tonight. And I'm so thrilled that he's here. He's an actor, he's a director, he's a producer. I have Long Island's very own Massapequa boy in the house, Daniel Baldwin. How you doing?
What's going on, Teresa?
What's up?
I'm going to teach you this. You know what this is?
I do.
What is it? I bet you don't. You want to bet? I got a side lunch right now. You don't know what it is.
Wait, I'm going to tell, before the show's over, I'll tell you.
All right, go.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, I want to get going because my hour goes so fast. All right. So listen, Daniel, from Massapequa, you went to Berna, right?
Yes, I did.
High school.
Uh-huh.
And I want to talk about that because I didn't know your dad actually taught there, right?
My dad taught at Massapequa High School.
Oh, he taught at Massapequa. He taught at Massapequa, and he was also coach of the football team, right?
He was.
And you played.
We played against my dad Thanksgiving Day, biggest game of the year, 8-game schedule. Last one was against the old man for bragging rights for the whole year. So there was hell to pay for my mother in that after that 7th game. There was a lot of talking going on in that house.
Oh, I'm sure. But I want to know because, look, you grew up with 4 other brothers, right?
3 brothers, 2 sisters.
2 sisters. And you basically your dad got a camera. He got like an 8mm camera to take tape the games, right? To see what they were going to do. And you decided with your brother Alec that you wanted to make movies at like, what, 6 years old?
1966, I think, was the first film we made at home.
Dad had... And was that called Attack of the Ishabills?
No, the Attack of the Ishkabibbles was one of our last films all the way to like 1972. So by then we were like 12. That was a very, very intricate film shoot.
Uh-huh. But you started out with Joe Cool movies, right?
We did. We made a lot of Joe Cool movies where Alec played Joe Cool.
Uh-huh. So how'd you get the camera from your dad? Because I heard you had to borrow it or something.
Well, we asked him if we could use it. It started that he showed the scouting films, silent, black and white, high school football movies in the backyard. And it was the greatest thing in the neighborhood. Everyone came. He had one of those drawstring screens for us to watch the movie on. And he would show these. And there was my mom made brownies, cupcakes, Kool-Aid. We all got all amped up and ran around the property. Right. My dad had the camera. We said, can we use the camera? And he said 3 rules. The camera doesn't leave the property. If you break it, you better be able to fix it. And I'm not financing your movie making. So you're going to have to figure out a way to make money to buy the film. And so we sold cups of iced tea at the golf course for $0.05 each until we had enough for another roll of film. We were back shooting immediately. That
reminds me of a story my father used to tell me. He would hide behind, his sister would ask his father, my grandfather, for a penny. So my father would hide behind his sister. So when my grandfather gave my aunt the penny, my father would jump out and say, can I have one too? And they would take the 2 cents, go to the supermarket, buy 2 shopping bags, resell them for 2 cents each, do that all day until they had like enough money to go to the movies all day.
Wow, that's funny.
It's cool. So, so Berna High School, after Berna, where did you go? What did you do?
So I went to Nassau Community College, and then I went to Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. When my father passed away while I was at Ball State, I wanted to pursue what I wanted to do. I finished up school, and I moved into New York City to become an actor. I went down to HB Studios and got an acting class. Very shortly after I decided to become a professional actor, I started booking work all the time. So I eventually moved out to LA because I booked a TV series with Valerie Bertinelli and Matthew Perry, which forced me to move out there.
Sydney, right? Sydney with Valerie?
Sydney with Valerie, yeah. And
your very first gig, was it good? Too Good to Be True? Was that your very first gig?
Too Good to Be True with Lonnie Anderson, and I had to actually kiss her in the movie, and I was petrified. Petrified. I called 3 actor friends of mine. I go, do I really kiss her? Like, should I kiss her, or do you fake and make it look like you're kissing, or do you just push your lips around? I had no idea what to do. I was so scared.
Did you discuss it before the scene?
I went for it, tongue and all.
Right. There you go. Hey, you know what? When are you going to get that shot again? Then just go for it.
Lonnie Anderson, come on. Burt Reynolds was her boyfriend at the time. He was on set. He didn't like me very much.
Really?
Well, I was going to make out with his girlfriend.
It's all for the labor of work. You know what I'm saying? Really.
That's right.
You listen, you've been in over like 150 films, okay? And I've had some favorites. Look, you've done TV, you've done so much stuff. I mean, Grimm and Hawaii Five-0 and Cold Case. And then as far as movies go, one of my favorite movies, of course, Mulholland Falls. I loved Grey Gardens because I love true stories. I'm like all into the true story thing. But, between Family Ties and NYPD Blue and Sopranos and the list goes on and on and on. But I want to know is, do you prefer a movie compared to a sitcom?
Yeah, I mean, I think as an actor, the natural progression of it is you do commercials, you land guest star spots in TV. If you're lucky, you get a TV series. But the ultimate thing to do, and I love the theater too, but I haven't done a play in a long time because I'm a movie actor now. I like making movies.
Yeah.
So the difference is, if I was to talk to you like this, like I would have to in regular dialogue in a play, is because I have to project and just speaking so you can hear me in the back row.
Right.
In television, your head is this big, so you can yell and scream and act ridiculous, and no one's going to notice. But in a movie, your head's the size of a building, and so when you're going to do your acting, there's a great range of subtleties you can do in film that if you did them in television, they would be incomprehensible. So I prefer that I've gone through the lineage now to be a film actor. And then from there, of course, can you write? Can you direct? Can you produce? And those things come usually after some success as an actor. But I think all in all, I prefer directing more than anything.
That's what I was just going to ask you. I was just going to ask you that about directing. And you directed a movie. It's a documentary, correct?
Yes.
Called, My Promise to PJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to tell everybody about that if you can.
Well, Patrick Raynor Jr. Is a boy that I knew since he was born. His mother was my brother Alex's first girlfriend in junior high school, Barbara Jean. Right. And his father is the first boy to ever kiss my older sister, Beth. So we know these people since we're like 5 years old.
Right.
I've always had a hard time with actors or celebrities that it's quite apparent that they're not sober and they've had problems like myself, that are afraid to put that out there to try to help others. In fact, what they could do if you were known and you talked about your troubles and were willing to help would be far more than the average person. So I chose to go that route. I put it out there on my social media. If you need help, call me, blah, 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 blah. So I had lost track of Barbara Jean. It wasn't like we were hanging out all the time or talking very much. And Facebook came out.
Right.
And she saw in my post that I'm willing to help. And she reached out to me because her son was struggling. He was facing prison time. He was in bad trouble. So the journey of this whole thing was I put him in and out of multiple recovery centers, and he continued to get out and then fail. The last time that I put him in, I had to go actually fly to North Carolina and meet with the district attorney to make a deal to get him out of what was going to be a long prison stay. And he agreed to give me one more shot at him. The day I took him, we flew back to LA. I was going to put him in this program that after 9 times that I went to rehab, I finally got it at. So I asked him to write a bucket list. I wanted him to write 10 things in descending order that he always wanted to do, that if he overdosed or went to prison, he would never get a chance to do.
Wow.
And he wrote the list. I took the list out I wrote when I got sober, and we had one match to run with the Bulls in Pamplona, Spain.
Wow.
So I said, if you get 2 years sober, I will take you to run with the bulls. He, in fact, got over 3 years sober, hooked up with somebody that had heroin and decided that he was going to try it one more time. And on the first shot, he overdosed and died. It was laced with fentanyl, so I lost him. And this was, he had been in one program for 2 years and then stayed sober. So this whole journey of 4 rehabs that I put him in took about 8 years. So I was well invested in PJ.
Wow, yeah.
And I've lost, sadly, 50, 60, guys and girls that I've known, that I've worked with that have overdosed and died. But this was a very personal one to me.
Yeah.
So 2 years, the 2-year anniversary of PJ's death, I still had a really bad time with it. Every time I stopped communicating with his mom, she even questioned me, why don't you message me anymore? And why don't you comment on my Facebook? And it just was too painful for me. So I decided I wanted to do something about it. In conjunction with a physical that I did with my doctor, who said, you have to do something about your weight and you're a type 2 diabetic. So I decided February 7th that I would go on this special diet.
Yes.
I lost 57 pounds in 5 months. So the film shows my training, my nutrition, and I go back and forth and interview my brother Stephen, my brother Billy, my brother Alec, PJ's mom and dad, other family members. And as we go back and forth, I eventually go to Spain because I flew to Spain with PJ's ashes. And I decided that I was going to run with the bulls at 59 years old. I ran with his ashes, honored my promise that I made to him. And I spewed his ashes in front of 40,000 fans the last day of the bull run. I documented all of it in a film. I knew if I was to have said to PJ, if it was a car accident, would you not want me to use our journey in a responsible way to try and save other people's lives? I know what he would have said. He would have said, absolutely. So I asked his parents if they were okay with it. The documentary, it documents my journey to Spain, my running with the bulls, injuries, catastrophic things.
I heard you took a shot in the elbow or something, right?
I took more than one shot, but you'll see when you see the movie.
Well, the movie is a documentary. I think you talked. Is Billy in it with Lou Diamond Phillips?
No, Billy's in it. So it's the first time that all 4 of us, myself and my 3 brothers, are in a film.
Right.
But no, you're referring to Billy being in a movie called The Wisdom to Know the Difference that I did with Lou Diamond Phillips.
But so the documentary, when and where can it be seen?
It's with Indie Rights right now, who will distribute it to various platforms. You should be able to.
I cannot wait to see it. I can't.
Yeah, get ready to cry. It's a tearjerker.
Oh yeah, it's the Kleenex movie. Absolutely.
Well, when you're a parent.
It's also inspirational, Daniel. It's also inspirational because of the journey that was, committed. Listen, you commit yourself. What touches me about you is that we all have demons. We all have demons and we all have trauma from our childhood. No one grew up drama-free or trauma-free, and it's how we deal with it. Like I was talking to you before the show, I have an addiction. I also had a traumatic time in my life when I was a kid, and it's how you deal with it. But so what I want to know is, we're going to take a really, really quick break, but when we come back, I want to know how we deal with it. How we get through each day. So everyone stay there, don't go away. More with Daniel Baldwin. We'll be right back.
Fortunato's Pizza and Restaurant is located at 719 Hawkins Avenue in Ronkonkoma. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They do free deliveries to Ronkonkoma, Lake Ronkonkoma, Lake Grove, Center Reach, Nesconsin, Holbrook, and Selden. And they do catering for all occasions. Remember, mention tea time and get 10% off your entire order. So, Fortunato's Pizza. Move your pizza to Fortunato's Pizza. So where do you want to go tonight?
Are you bored?
Oh my God.
Hold on tight. We're gonna coast us.
Coaster's Tavern is located at 487 New Bridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222.
Well, hi there, Teresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Teresa. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I want to thank everyone for watching. Hello Taz and Donna and Grace and everybody watching. Bruno, please like the show, please share it, start a watch party. I want to thank Fortunato's Pizzeria in Ronkonkoma, Long Island for sponsoring my show this week. They have delicious food, and when you mention Tea Time, you get 10% off your order. And I love their slogan, Move your pizza to Fortunato's Pizza. And I also want to thank John York from General Hospital for his plug for my show. Thank you, John. I did have Carolyn Hennessy from General Hospital on. I'm hoping to get you on too. Listen, I am so excited to be here with actor, director, producer Daniel Baldwin. I'm so glad he's joining me tonight, and I'm glad everyone's joining me here too. You know, we were talking about his career, growing up in Massapequa, going to school, making movies at a young age with his brother, and then, you know, about addiction amongst kids and the war on opioids. And my daughter lost a couple of people during the pandemic, and my girlfriend's son had a horrible accident and got addicted, and he passed, and she started a foundation for him, and it's just rampant. And your documentary is going to be so inspirational. Yes, people are gonna cry and they're gonna relate, and I can't wait to see it. I really can't. But what I want to know is you yourself said that it took you 9 times to go to rehab, thousands and thousands of dollars, but you finally hit something. You hit your wall, you hit something, and you've been on course since November 22nd, 2006. What was that wall? What penetrated? What got through?
I don't think I was ever afraid of it before. I don't think I was ever afraid of the consequences. I've been arrested. I've been in a lot of bar fights. I've done all that stuff. But I had a particular night right near the end where I started feeling numbness and pain down my left arm and in my chest, and I realized that I was pre-cardiac arrest. And I remember laying there trying to calm myself, doing cocaine and drinking alcohol that night. And I said, I don't want my kids to find me dead in a hotel room and have this be my legacy. Right. I don't. And I remember as I was thinking that, the whole show going on here with dogs.
Well, what are you going to do?
Avis, come get the dogs, honey, please. Bring them in the kitchen. Sorry about that. I've got 2 English Mastiffs and a puppy white German Shepherd. So in conjunction, I took the timing of all it. Here I am sitting there, about to have a heart attack. And the knock on the door comes from the manager of the hotel. And he's watched for days. I've been there for days. And he's watched the reports, I'm sure, from the front desk. I don't know, some dude walked in. He went up there and he left, 6 minutes after he walked in the door. And he did this 3 times last night for 5, So the guy knows what's going on.
Right.
And he knocked on the door. He knew who I was. I've stayed at this hotel a lot. And he said, and I cracked it. I didn't, open all the way. I had the chain on. He goes, I'm going to give you an hour to clean up. He said, I want you to leave. And I looked at him. I went, what are you talking about? And he went, I want you to leave the hotel. Now, this is a hotel that I stayed at 100 times.
Right.
No one's ever knocked on my door, bothered me. They were onto it. They didn't want me around. They wanted me to go. So I'm pre-cardiac arrest. I'm being thrown out of a very reputable hotel that I've stayed at many, many times. And I walk outside and I sat down on the curb and I thought to myself, either I'm going to make an attempt now, I'm going to reach out to someone because I'm in a pretty low position,
Right.
or I'm going to go find a dealer who had no money. So I called an Uber or a taxi or whatever it was. And when I went to use my credit card, they'd all been shut off by my business manager, who also realized what I was doing. And I had a track history before this. So now I've got no money, no credit cards. I've got no way out of this place down in Marina del Rey. And I went through my phone and I looked up rehabs that, I hadn't been to,
Right.
which there was probably more at the time that I had been to than I hadn't. And I got the owner of this rehab and I told him my situation. I said, I'm in trouble. And he said, wait right there. I'll come get you.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, oh, he's going to come get me. And I said, look, I don't even know my insurance is going to pay this. I certainly don't have the advertised $58,000. He went, don't worry about it right now. Let's just get you here,
Right.
get you, your legs back a little bit, see what's going on. And we can call people to see about the money. But he actually cared. He actually cared about me.
He's an angel. He was an angel.
But I do remember, I knew I had a conscience that would say that knew you could die in OD on cocaine. I had a conscience that knew you could wreck a car and kill yourself or someone. But I was never really, while I was on the wheel, afraid, oh my God, I'm going to crash. Now I was afraid. I never felt that burning feeling down my arm. And I recognized immediately, okay, this is what happens when you have a heart attack.
Right.
And so here's the insanity of it. So it was one of those old clocks in the hotel room that had the plates. The plate flips over 1, 2, 3. It was like looked like a stamp, and it would flip over with the numbers on it. So I was smoking the cocaine. I put the cocaine down on the table next to the clock, and I sat at the edge of the bed, and I waited for 30 more minutes to go by, thinking that a half hour was enough time for me to come down with a couple of swigs of whiskey to do another hit of the cocaine. And each time I did another hit, my left side immediately froze up. My arm started to hurt. And I sat and just watched 30 plates fall for hours. Hours I kept doing it, knowing that I was really close to having a heart attack, knowing that any one of those hits of cocaine that I was doing could possibly take me to the promised land. It was over. And then when I ran out was when I was already thinking about getting more and how I would do it. And the guy knocked on the door from the manager of the hotel. Fear is what did it. I was afraid I was going to die.
Right. So what has kept you sober every day since November 22nd, 2006?
Well, I have a personal relationship with God now that I didn't really have. I was raised, a good Catholic kid from Long Island, Irish Catholic. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really know God. I'm a born-again Christian now. I don't really wear my Christianity on my sleeve like many of my friends that are Christians do. If you want to know about my journey with Christ, I probably wouldn't tell it as much on a show as I would one-on-one with someone. I don't believe that you're wrong if you're a Buddhist. I don't believe that you're wrong if you're Jewish. I don't believe you're wrong if you're Hindu. I just have my story and my journey and my relationship with Jesus Christ. He's my Lord, my Savior, and He saved me. So,
Amen.
That's it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's a big part of it. And I think also in the 12th step, it says, having had a spiritual awakening, we reach out to the alcoholic or addict who still suffers. I was never really much on the service model. And I don't think I ever really tried very hard at staying sober the previous 8 times. So my attitude was, don't you know who I am? I'm an actor. I'm not doing these meeting things. I'm not telling my story in an open room. I had every excuse to try to be elitist and be a jerk, which really was only just keeping myself in a place where I could have an excuse to use. It wasn't until I submitted, you have to surrender. And I just couldn't do it. There were guys who were not as mentally strong, who were not as physically strong, who did not do as well in their career. And there were homeless guys that were staying sober, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't do it because I wasn't listening to what the direction that was being given to me. Here I was, an actor, not being able to follow direction, which is kind of ironic. So I just shut up, got out of my own way, and took some direction.
And I heard you say something in a previous interview, which made me think and touched me, because we all want to live our best life. We all want to be good people. And you said that Jesus is standing next to you. When Jesus is standing next to you, and maybe you shouldn't be doing something you shouldn't do. Like when you're on you have a decision to make. Should you do it? Should you not do it? Well, if he's standing next to you, should you do it in front of him? And I was like, that's like right on target. It's really right there. For me, for you, for a lot of people. I don't think people don't stop and think before they do. And I think that's what gets us in trouble. It's hard. It is hard to stop and think and be aware at all times of, your surrounding, your environment and what's going on.
Yes.
You
Sorry, I've got activity again with the dogs. The line is, act as if Jesus is standing right next to you, because he is.
Exactly.
And so when I use that model with my children or with anyone, especially those people who claim to believe any form of Christianity that involves Jesus Christ, well, Christ is there with you all the time. So would you do what you're about to do? Would you say what you're about to say if you saw the man himself standing next to you? And the answer is probably not. Probably
not. It's very profound, and it touched me. It really did. Listen, we're going to take another quick break. Stay right there. Don't go away. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Share the show, and we'll be right back with Daniel Baldwin.
So where do you want to go tonight?
Why don't we go to Coasters?
Oh, cool. I heard it's a great place. Let's check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh my God.
Coasters Tavern is located at 487 New Bridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222. Fortunato's Pizza and Restaurant is located at 719 Hawkins Avenue in Ronkonkoma. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They do free deliveries to Ronkonkoma, Lake Ronkonkoma, Lake Grove, Center Reach, Nesconsin, Holbrook, and Selden. And they do catering for all occasions. Remember, mention Tea Time and get 10% off your entire order. So, Fortunato's Pizza. Move your pizza to Fortunato's Pizza.
How you doing? It's Sal the Voice Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Teresa Canastraci Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. And make sure you follow Teresa on Facebook. Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. I want to thank Fortunato, my sponsor. Give them a call. You get 10% off your order. And Sal the Voice Valentinetti, thank you for your kind words about my show Tea Time. I hope you're enjoying Florida and the warm weather. I want to thank everyone for watching, liking the show, share it, start a watch party. I have actor, director, producer Daniel Baldwin with me tonight. I am so excited that he's here. And yeah, Daniel, we can now talk about Baldwinning. Let's talk about Baldwinning.
Baldwinning is a new thing I'm doing with my partner, manager, Diana Carter, who you know.
I
Diana.
I know Diana through friends, not personally yet, but I'm hoping to have her on too.
She is the hardest working woman in show business. I mean, she's just amazing. Mom, she does it all. So on the My Promise to PJ, when I lost the 57 pounds, that's dangerous to do at my age. And that's a rapid weight loss to lose, almost 60 pounds in 5 months. Actually, it was under 5 months that I did it in. But I have an amazing product line that I used. It was very responsible. It meets you where you are too with the workout that I put to it. Let's face it, if you're in your 50s and you put on that extra weight and you haven't worked out and you haven't done anything, do you really think you're going to go to one of these programs and work for 40 minutes a day, but even 20 minutes? Now you need to work out for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, build it to 5 minutes. So I've got a really simple thing that I did. I mean, my knees were bad. I'm type 2 diabetic. So for me, it was really hard to lose the weight. And I tell you what, in conjunction with the product line that I use, that I'm going to reveal when we do bald winning, which is what we're going to call it.
Bald winning, I love it.
Bald winning. So yeah, look for that with Diana's my partner on it. And we're going to be launching that pretty soon. So you'll be able to find it on my Facebook and on different stuff. Maybe I'll come back on with Diana for an episode.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. But you lost this weight. You were type 2 diabetic. Your what number was high? Like off the chart, crazy.
When I went, I was. They talk about the honeymoon phase when you transfer over into diabetes and your body stops producing insulin. So I went in. I was on a plane from San Antonio to LA, and I went to the bathroom 15 times on that 2.5-hour flight. 15. I couldn't figure out what is wrong with me. So I called a friend who said, that could be diabetes. And I went into the doctor. So your sugar should be, from 80 to 120 or whatever the range, the scope of the range is. And they say, at 350 to 400, you're going straight to the hospital. Mine was 690. I was a person that drank those 39 grams of sugar Gatorades, 7-8 of them a day for years. I pounded those down, not knowing, how much sugar was in there. So I was really, my sugar was high. They took me immediately to the hospital and admitted me. And I was diagnosed type 2 diabetes. I've really done a lot of work on that with my diet. But I would say my hardest thing about it is that having kids, the kids are teenagers who just started their cycle and they're crazy for sugar. Yep. And, I see them walk in with a bowl of ice cream and I go, man, I want a bowl of that ice cream. And so now what I did was I went from 285 to 228. After the run was up, I went back up to, I gained like 10 pounds. I'm 238 right now. So not bad. Normally, when you lose a lot of weight, you normally put it all on or more, they tell you. So for over a year now, I lost 57 and I've maintained 47 of it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very good.
So do I every once in a while eat something sweet? Yeah, once a week I kill it. I'll eat the whole thing of Haagen-Dazs. I throw caution to the wind. I'm sure my sugar is skyrocketing. I doubt I'm going to have a stroke anymore. But, I live my life too, so
yeah.
It's unrealistic that I'm going to go to a really nice, a restaurant and not have the tiramisu. I'm going to try it.
Right. No, it's all moderation, portion, not eating it every day. It's common sense, but it is hard when I'm a food addict and I yo-yoed my whole life. I put on COVID weight and I have to get it off. I'm not comfortable. I want to get back into the clothes that I have in my closet. I don't want to buy anymore. But when there's stuff in the house that is there and you shouldn't have it, it's tempting. So sometimes it's like, don't buy it, because if it's not in the house, at least it's not there for me to see.
Yeah.
Tonight I made a delicious chicken chili. And I says, we're gonna have chicken chili. I'll put it over like chopped broccoli or something like that. And I find too, if I prep in advance, then you're not just grabbing for something.
That's right.
Which helps. I want to also mention, which I didn't mention before, because you mentioned that your brothers took part in the documentary. You guys were all born on the 4th of July, right? Oliver Stone's movie?
Alec wasn't in it.
Oh, no, yeah, just you and...
Me, Billy, and Steven.
Yeah, and that was actually filmed in Massapequa?
Well, it was about Ron Kovic, who was a student of my father's at Massapequa High School. Oh. So it hit really home to us that they were going to do Ron's story, because we're probably the only cast members and the director, all of them. No one knew Ron. We knew Ron.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
Amazing movie. So what were you doing before COVID and what stopped?
Well, I have custody of my children right now. And that's from being on the other side of the addiction thing. So it's interesting. I've now been able to be the one that, got in trouble and caused problems and so on and so forth, and ate up relationships with my own older children. And now I've been given by the courts custody of my two girls, Avis and Finley, because their mom has had some things she needs to work through. So being on that side of it now, and I bought a 200-year-old farmhouse in upstate New York because my mom said, I really wish you would spend more time with me now. I'm 90 and, let's face it, I don't know how much longer. And I thought about that. And I thought with what I do for a living, I'm not in LA chasing auditions all the time, whatever. I'm at a point where I make my own films. They call still, thank God, 3-4 times a year, and they call 20 times a year, but I take 3 or 4 of them only a week at a time now. I don't want to leave my kids. I really want to do, as part of my own journey, really be here for my girls, because I was not a good father to my daughter Kaylee, my daughter Alexandra, and my son Atticus. I wasn't, so I was very sick. I can forgive myself and try to make amends as I can with my children and my other relationships I have with him. But, I was a very sick person. So now I think because of my guilt and shame and my conscience over how absentee and effective I was as a father now I pretty much just said, I don't care really what happens with the acting thing that much. I'm going to get these kids, to where they need to be through high school. And whatever I do will be secondary. Before, it was my whole life was all about what movie. I gotta go to Vancouver for 16 weeks. Hey,
I have to tell you, Daniel, I had the pleasure of meeting your mom, Carol. Years ago, my girlfriend Raquel, happy birthday, Raquel. Today's her birthday. Raquel and I went to one of your mother's fundraisers here on Long Island. I don't remember the name of the club. I just remember Mark Anthony was there to perform. I remember meeting your mom. Sweet, sweet, sweet woman. And the ironic thing is that my best friend Raquel, who I've known for over 44 years, whose birthday's today, actually ended up in Stony Brook with breast cancer, double mastectomy and reconstruction.
Wow.
So
that's my mother. That's my mother's center at Stony Brook.
I know she has her own center there. It's the Carol M. Baldwin Breast Cancer Center in Stony Brook, and the family has done amazing work when it comes to her organization. And like I said, I was just so blessed to meet the sweetest woman on the planet, and beautiful. Oh my God, gorgeous. So yeah, I mean, it was lovely that I had that moment and I was able to, partake in her fundraiser. It was a night that I'll never forget. You also, because you mentioned Syracuse, your mom's originally from Syracuse, isn't she?
Mom's from Syracuse. My dad played football at Syracuse. They met at the college, at the university.
Mm-hmm. So sweet. And you actually had a radio show up there for a couple of years on WTLA?
I did. As part of my commitment to staying home with the kids, I decided to exploit my big mouth on an ESPN radio show. And I was very proud of that show. It's in its first year, won best radio show in all of the state of New York, outside of New York City, because their markets are so much bigger. But Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Long Island, Albany, in my first year. So I was very proud of that. But in order for me to do the documentary, I had to focus on training, the weight, and the things that I had to do as a filmmaker, the interviews and all the things I had to do. Remember, I shot that movie in 5 months. It was, I had 60 plus hours of material shot on 3 cameras. So I had 180 hours of material to edit down to 96 minutes.
Wow.
And not to mention the fact that I had to go run with the bulls in Dead Man's Curve, the most dangerous, volatile area of the bull run. So
what did you do to prepare for that? I mean, is it just...
Well, there's three different types of bull runners I learned from observing. There's the guys that start running way ahead and the bulls get close and they dive out of the way before the bulls actually reach them. Then there's the guys that let the bulls, they stand on the side and let the bulls kind of go by and they start to run with them a little bit, but they stay away from being in front of them. And then there's the idiots like myself who actually start running ahead. You can't outrun a bull. They run 10 miles an hour slower than a thoroughbred racehorse. So they're going to track you down. Now, if you choose to continue to run once the first one and the next 11 catch up to you and they pass you and you're running in the pack, that's the guy that has the biggest balls and does that. So that he's the stupidest one. I prefer to think that it was really a stupid thing to do when I look at it now. I was injured multiple times. There have been many.
Horn, right? You said to PJ something about touching a horn.
I told him that I told him, well, I don't want to give too much of it away.
Okay.
Yeah, there were promises that I made. That's why it's my promise to PJ. It wasn't just the run. Yeah. There were things within the run that I promised him that I would do.
Right.
One of them was incredibly stupid and outlandish.
But you did it. You did. I mean, you did it. This is something that was on your bucket list. Let me ask you a question. You wrote a bucket list, and
I did. I did.
Did you accomplish anything else on that bucket list?
On this trip, no. Have I accomplished anything on the bucket list? Yes, I'm sober.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a few things on the list that I've accomplished, but not as a result of doing the bull run. Just one. It was, those outlandish things that you say, the romanticism of reading Hemingway and him talking and describing the bull run, and you close your eyes after you read those words in a book and you think to yourself, what would that be like? Until you get on the 21-foot wide streets of Pamplona,
right,
and those bulls come at you, and you realize because your feet are vibrating from the impact of their hooves hitting the ground. And as they get closer, you're almost bouncing off the ground. That's how intense it is. And all these people are in red and white, and they're all starting to run towards you. And you're looking at it, kind of playing chicken, going, right, wait, go! But when they're right there, and you realize there's no way out, it's quite maddening and scary. It actually is.
Sure. My
heart was pounding when they closed in on me, and I realized I couldn't get out of here if I wanted to right now. So if one of them zones in on me and decides, and of course everyone wears a white shirt with red bandana. I wore a black Real Madrid jersey because I wanted the cameraman as I ran to be able to find me.
Right.
So that, because there's so many people running. And the other thing that's really dangerous about the bull run is you have no idea what the person or persons in front of you are going to do. So it only requires one of them to fall, and suddenly you see a massive, very fast domino effect of 15 people sprawled out. And the bulls zone in, just pick you up and throw you. They gore you and throw you in the air. And if they don't get distracted by running, they'll stop and just pinball you up against the wall a few times, and then they take off.
I've watched it, and I pray for those people. They're running with the Bills. But you know what, Daniel, I have to tell you, you've inspired me only because I wrote out a bucket list, and unfortunately, I don't think I've accomplished one thing on it. It's going to be 6 years next month. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and I had brain surgery, and I wrote a list of everything. Not that I'm looking to jump out of a plane tomorrow, but I wrote down a bunch of stuff. A lot of it had to do with traveling. I wanted to see Italy, where my family's from. I wanted to go to Ireland and Spain. It had to do with seeing more of the world because I've never been, outside of the United States other than, like a couple of places, but not like Europe. So, it's inspiring to, life's so short, and we're in this moment of COVID, and we're all going to be like uncaged animals when we're, when we're able to get out again.
Yeah.
But it inspires me to start crossing stuff off the bucket list. And I think it's important for you, for yourself and, your heart and your body and mind, your soul. On that note, we're going to take our last quick commercial break. Everyone stay there. Don't go away, because we're going to have more with Daniel when we come back.
Fortunato's Pizza and Restaurant is located at 719 Hawkins Avenue in Ronkonkoma. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. They do free deliveries to Ronkonkoma, Lake Ronkonkoma, Lake Grove, Center Reach, Nesconsin, Holbrook, and Selden. And they do catering for all occasions. Remember, mention Tea Time and get 10% off your entire order. So, Fortunato's Pizza. Move you pizza to Fortunato's a Pizza.
So where do you want to go tonight?
Are you bored?
Oh my God.
Hold on tight. We're gonna coast this.
Coaster's Tavern is located at 487 Newbridge Road in East Meadow. Their number's 516-557-2222.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. That's right, I have actor, director, producer Daniel Baldwin in the house for me from Massapequa, Long Island originally. And we're just having a really good time, and I'm glad that you all are joining me tonight. Like the show, share it, start a watch party. So in the beginning of the show, there's a sign Daniel uses, and I know what it is, okay? He was in a video with Tupac. Okay, and this means D something, but I know what it means.
First of all,
Tell me about the video with Tupac.
First of all, the first time Tupac ever rapped on an album was with Digital Underground, and I rapped on that album with them.
Right.
Because they were in the movie Nothing But Trouble that I was in with Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase, John Candy, and Demi Moore. Yes. So, but no, you're not even close. Like I told you, you don't know. So here's the quiz. You ready? All right. In the 1960s, Peace. Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
What did that mean for Winston Churchill? What does it look like? What letter?
V. Victory.
Victory for the Allied forces against the enemy. So Churchill he made a victory. But this, my friend, goes all the way back to the times of Braveheart, the famous Mel Gibson movie.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because they cut off their fingers and they couldn't use the bows.
And?
What? There's more?
When the French captured the Scots, the English, and the Irish, they would cut their two fingers off so they could never draw a bow again.
Yes.
So when the Irish lined up in the field of battle before the battle started, they throw the deuce up, which means I'm in the fight. I'm coming because I got both my fingers. Yeah. And here it comes. So this means I'm in the fight.
In the fight. Yep. And we're all in the fight.
Right.
Every day. So we were talking about COVID and what's going on, because a lot of people are affected by it. Like we said, listen, there's people are depressed. They're not able to do what they want to do. You and I live, you're up in Syracuse. It's cold out there. They're showing how to tailgate outside for the Super Bowl. What, in the snow? No, we're not in a warm state. We can't do that. So I knew it was going to be a long, cold winter until we're able to get out again and do more outside. So what are you doing with the kids to not, go a little bonkers in the house?
So there's a great place up here called Greek Peak, which is a ski resort, and actually they make everybody, even though they're outdoors, wear a mask. They're social distancing on the chairlift and on the lines out there. But actually, we've been skiing and snowboarding.
Nice.
I live on Oneida Lake. I'm gonna put that back off. Are we back? I live on Oneida Lake. So this ice out here is almost 2 feet thick. We go ice fishing, we go snowmobiling, we do lots of stuff on the water and on the ice. So, my kids are a little bored. I think they'd rather be with their friends than being with me. I held them out when it started getting bad. I took them out in the spring. They stayed out, in the house pretty much all summer. And then it started to lighten up again. And then we got hit with the second load. So I pulled them out of school in November. I just put them back in school. I'm still a little nervous with this new South African strain that's coming through and all this other crap. But, my kids, they're done with being home with me. That's for sure. They're done.
And the dogs are good. The dogs love you.
Yes, my big boy. Jethro. Who's
Where's
my big
Jethro?
boy?
Oh my goodness.
This big cat.
He's just chilling. He's just chilling.
That's 215 pounds of love right there.
So listen, I want to know, during COVID and people with addictions, where should they go? Where should they reach out to? Any kind of meetings online? I know people are trying to do Zoom things.
Yeah, you don't really, with social distancing and how they've closed down a lot of these things in the state of New York. Governor Cuomo has been very strict. You really, virtual is really the only thing that we have to do right now. And this opioid epidemic has not slowed down. At first, I thought COVID was going to be something that was actually going to be good because you wouldn't be able to go get the drugs. But it turns out that's not the case. It's actually made it worse. I'm going to do a live on Dr. Drew's show tomorrow night.
Okay.
And the subject is how bad the pandemic has made this. They're really honestly, there's not a lot of choices. You're going to have to do it virtually or small gatherings.
A lot of virtual. Well, listen, Daniel, we've come to the end of my show. You're going to stay right there. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I want to thank everyone for watching. Actor, director, producer Daniel Baldwin. This means the world to me, and I have so much more to talk to you about. But I want to thank everyone for watching and tuning in. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Ciao. See you next week.